And welcome to the We Like Sports Show. I'm your host, Ed in Columbus, with my co-host and Yankee fan, Keith Allen. What's up, my guy?
We're back.
Uh-oh.
Like them guys said on Trading Places and coming what was that? Coming to America.
America.
We're back.
Yeah, that's right. Breaking news. We'll have break-ed news later, but breaking news right now. Yankees and Padres are finalizing a deal to send Juan Soto to the Bronx, and that's got Keith all in a frenzy right now and got his Yankees hat on, and rightfully so. Good for you. Your organization actually goes out and gets players when they feel like their lineup isn't apt. My Guardians, shout out to them. Congratulations to them. For the first time in franchise history, Cleveland will pick first in the amateur draft later on in June.
And actually, they won the first lottery too.
Yes, that is correct. Down in Nashville at the winter meeting. So
yes,
hopefully we need a bat. So I just want to say this. I know we have a lot of pitching in Cleveland, and I don't know what the prospects are. I'm not going to come on here and say I'm some baseball aficionado when it comes to amateur players, whether it be in high school or college or wherever they may be. But I do know the sticks need to come to Carnegie in Ontario because we are lacking in the power category in Cleveland.
Yes.
Jeez. So yeah, I see you got your Yankees hat on. So Keith, what is it about the Yankees? You know, they go out there, and I know they got the big payroll and everything, but what is it about them that makes them so cool? Because you know what, I'm not gonna lie. You see Jay-Z, you see even when they had Jeter and everything. It is cool to be a Yankees fan. And talk about your fandom and what it means to be a Yankee fan.
But I've been a Yankee fan since '78.
I know a guy, Mr. October. Is that quite around?
Yes.
Reggie
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Since '78, and my father took me to a game with the Indians at the time when they was playing at the old place against the Yankees, and it was about like 40, 50,000 there. And he had bought me and my cousin Yankee pennants. And after that, I was a Yankee fan ever since. And that was back when they had Reggie Jackson, Mickey Rivers, Chris Chambliss, Craig Nettles. Chris Chambliss and Craig Nettles were originally with the Indians.
That's correct. That is correct, yes.
And what a lot of people don't know, George Steinbrenner was originally from Cleveland as well, and he wanted to buy the Indians.
Yes, that is
one time.
Yeah, Steinbrenner got his money in the shipbuilding business. He is from Northeast Ohio.
Yes, sir.
Also, too, in 1983, I and sometimes I tweet this out. I've tweeted it out a few times, but a former president, Donald J. Trump, in 1983, had his lawyer send a memo over to the owners of the Indians at the time, and he wanted to buy the Indians for $15 million. And you can say what you want about him, but I think he would have made the Indians great again. Better than what we had, because we didn't get a World Series. As much as as much as we can say what we want about the Indians and they're fun in the 90s, and I had fun in the 90s with the Indians, unlike the Yankees, who have 27 World Series championships, our Cleveland Guardians / Indians, we've had two, 1920 and 1948, and I can promise you that most of our audience was not alive back then.
See, a lot of the, how can I say, young adults that's 30, like, let's say that was born from 90 on up, didn't really have to witness how inept the Indians were as an organization and franchise before 93 basically.
Yeah.
They didn't get to witness that because, oh my God, it was some dry.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I am older than that threshold that you threw out there. So I remember my father and I, we'd go down to Municipal Stadium, and it's $5 general admission.
Yes, sir.
It's a 72,000 seat stadium, and there's 5,000 people on a Tuesday night. We were social distancing before it was cool, I tell you that. But it was great times, and I'll never ever forget the times I spent with my dad, and he'd talk about Cleveland, and I got educated and a lot of civic things that he taught me. But also too, I fell in love with the Cleveland Indians at the time. I didn't care that they didn't win. They were Cleveland's team. And I remember the first time, April 23rd, 1989, it was against the New York Yankees, my first ball game ever, Major League game. Yankees won 5-0. John Farrell was on the bump for the Tribe that day. I remember Mel Hall played for the Yankees. I remember, it was bag day. It was fun times. And, I always knew that the Yankees were, our bigger brother. But the Yankees, to your point, you say you became a fan from 1978, but, from 78 to 96, there were some lean years in New York.
In the 80s, they was god awful for a minute, like in the late 80s, like from the mid to the late 80s, because then Reggie Jackson left, Dave Winfield left, or George Steinbrenner drove Dave Winfield out. Other players, Chris Chambliss and all them got old, and then with the death of Thurman Munson and everything.
Yes.
A lot of things happening for a while. It was some lean years for like a 10-year period until like the mid 90s, right around the time the Tribe got good.
Exactly.
The Yankees came right back with them.
And that reminds me of, people talk about, the lean years for the 41 years from 1954 to 1995 that the Indians weren't in the postseason. People forget about this, but the Yankees and Indians in the 1950s had such a great rivalry where the Indians would win 100+ games. It just so happened that the Yankees would win 1 or 2 more games, but there were some fierce matchups between those two. They're probably the 2 best teams in the American League. And and then it's funny that you said that. And then they had these lean years, and then they finally get good in the mid 90s. And they had some great classic matchups. I remember the 1997 ALDS where the Tribe wins it in 5 games with Jarrett Wright and Sandy Alomar's home run in Game 4. And then obviously in 1998 ALCS, the Yankees beat the Tribe in 6 games. But I remember one of the games where the Tribe hit back-to-back home runs with hard-hitting Mark Whitten, some of the fun casts that they had. So, Yankees and Indians / now Guardians going forward, I mean, they historically have had some great matchups and have been really fun for Major League Baseball.
Yes.
It's just unfortunate that, on Cleveland's side, they couldn't get the amount of World Series titles as New York. But like I said,
think about this. In 98, I think, was the year when the Yankees won like 114 games.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
The Guardians was the only team that the Indians was the only team back then that gave them comp in the playoffs that year. That is correct. The Yankees ran through everybody else.
I think what did us in is I remember the series was tied 2-2, and it was Game 5 in Cleveland. And on the hill was Boomer Wells, David Wells for the Yankees. And I remember beforehand, Bob Costas reporting for NBC because they had the game. And it didn't make Cleveland look good. But I guess there were some fans when David Wells was warming up talking about David Wells' dead mother. And that was a low point, I thought. And then unfortunately the karma kicked in and the Yankees got it done in the next 2 games and went on to beat the Padres, sweep them in the World Series. And that was an all-time historic great team, the 1998 New York Yankees. And one of the key members of that Yankees team that I always feel gets overlooked is third baseman Scott Brocious. I always felt like he was a very good cog in that lineup. He was definitely
a killer on that team. Paul O'Neill. Oh man,
Paul O'Neill from Columbus, Ohio.
Yes, sir. Used to play with the Cincinnati Reds.
1990 World Series champion with the Reds. Yeah.
But everybody knows him really now playing with the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, when you win 4 World Series titles, that'll get it done. But I know we're reminiscing about the past, and like me and you, hey, we're we could go to a bar and be like those old guys just talking. But let's talk about what's going on in Major League Baseball. So the winter meetings are happening down in Nashville. The Guardians obviously got the first pick in the amateur draft coming up in June. Reds got the second pick. Big news, obviously, with Juan Soto signing with the Yankees. But also another big thing I want to talk about is Shohei Ohtani. I guess what do you think about this stuff? I saw this, and then Dan Patrick was talking about this. So he's telling potential suitors that
he goes on a team this week.
Yeah, you can meet with him. You just can't talk about if you do meet with him.
Whoa,
I mean, I guess he's setting his terms. That
sound like when LeBron became a free agent the first time.
Yeah,
had all the teams meet.
Come to Cleveland and do the.
and they was
Yeah.
meeting in a hotel, hotel and
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, I understand LeBron James and everything and what he did, but Shohei Ohtani doing this, and maybe obviously, he's Japanese, and maybe he just, the different culture, and maybe he just doesn't want the big limelight, even though obviously it's hard to hide from the fact that you are the greatest player on baseball on our planet Earth in baseball right
Yes.
now, and I get that.
He is our version of Babe Ruth right
Yeah,
now. He
without
is.
question.
He is. He's just a lot better of a pitcher, and he's just, now. How long can he still pitch remains to be
Well,
seen.
I was going to ask you this, Keith. Okay, so you're Keith. You're not Keith on We Like Sports right now or Locked on Sports 216. You're Keith, GM of any team right now, and you have to make an offer to Shohei Ohtani. How are you looking? Like, we could talk about money all we want, and that's fine. But looking at it, do you see? Obviously, you're probably gonna have to give a 7 and 10-year contract. But realistically, do you see him pitching for 5 to 6 years? When you're structuring the contract, do you base it like that? 5 to 6 years of pitching. You're gonna have the hitting, obviously, all throughout those years. But
I would honestly say I wouldn't expect him to pitch no more than 5 years. For real.
okay, I agree with
It
that.
might not even be that long. For real. If you keep having arm troubles,
Yeah.
it might not be but 2 or 3 years because he's not going to pitch next year.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Because he had to have surgery again. So that'd be dicey. But betting wise,
Yeah.
he's a monster.
He definitely is. What do you think he's going to end up? What do you think he's going to end up?
Honestly, I think he's going to end up in LA with the Dodgers.
I kind of think that too. I kind of think when it's all said and done, I don't think doesn't have to move too far from where he's at currently. LA has a great Asian market with them. They had Hideki, not Hideki, but Nomo Mania back in 1995. I saw him pitch, by the way. I saw him pitch, and I went out there and I saw him pitch.
And you also got Atlanta contending for his services, but I think he's just going to stay in LA where he's comfortable.
Yeah, I kind of think that as well. So other news, potential news, maybe the Guardians obviously shopping Shane Bieber. Do you think they'll actually finally pull the trigger on that one, or do you think it's going to come down maybe closer to spring training?
That's going to be. If I was the Guardians, I would try to have to keep Shane Bieber and see how the season goes.
Okay.
Because you got to realize that you don't know what's going to happen with Tristan McKenzie. He's been injured almost every season.
Yes.
You got the 3 young guys, Gavin Williams,
Logan Allen,
and
Tanner Bybee.
You got those 3 guys, but who do you have after that? Because you DFA Quantrill.
Yes.
So who do you have after that in your rotation?
That's a good point. I think one thing, we went into last year as Guardians fans, or a lot of Guardians fans, including myself, went into with this belief that our starting pitching was so elite, and it was not only elite, but it was also we had a lot of it basically. And you find out how thin a pitching staff is when 1, 2, 3 guys go down like we did. Obviously, you don't want 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it comes crashing down in a hurry. And but that's a great point. I mean, you could always keep them up until the All-Star break, or just see where you're at the beginning of the season. So I don't know if there's a rush to do it. Maybe now they think they could get a couple more prospects in a deal. Maybe that could be the reason why you would pull the trigger now.
The Guardians keep jacking us off every 2-3 years with that. We got these new prospects.
Right.
And they don't. I mean, a lot of times they do win the trades.
Right.
But
it's years later.
And where is it getting you in the now?
Well, I haven't had a World Series since 1948, so obviously not where I want to be. Yeah.
And plus, I got a theory with the Guardians too, because there's also entertaining offers for Clase as well.
I was just you beat me to it. You beat me to the punch. You know what I didn't realize about him? he's younger than I thought,
He only
and
about 24, 25.
yeah, and he's got a pretty friendly contract. I mean,
Yes.
what unless you're going to get something major for him, I'd keep him, I think.
I would keep him too. I know a move that I would make because, and a lot of people probably don't believe me, but if it happens, you'll look at me. I've said it before on Locked On Sports, but nobody was paying me attention. But don't be surprised if the Guardians move Tristan McKenzie to the bullpen.
Ooh.
Because I don't think with his build and stuff, he can hold up
The durability.
going 6,
Yeah.
7 innings every fifth day. I just don't think he can hold
I mean,
up
because he does strike out a lot of people. I could see him being a closer.
and he doesn't have to put much stress on his arm. All he got to do is throw fastball, changeup. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You only
right.
have to rely on maybe 1 or 2 pitches, and you're only going through the order maybe once. You probably 3 batters at the most.
What
3 to
about
5
this?
batters.
What about this? You have an 8th inning of Tristan McKenzie and a 9th inning of Clase. That's some heat right there.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm
You know?
telling you, they might have to have a come to Jesus moment with that fact because he's been injured almost every year.
Yeah, yeah.
He can't stay healthy.
Well, I definitely like that. I mean, because going back, like I said, let's reminisce again about the Yankees of the '90s. What did they have besides just their hitters? That
The
7th, 8th, and
bullpen.
9th with Mendoza
Yes.
and Mariano Rivera and Stanton. It was Stanton, Mendoza, Rivera, lights out, game
Plus,
over.
and
Game
plus,
over.
you got to look at it right now. If you go into the season now, Karinchak is your 8th inning guy, and he's been inconsistent the last 2-3 years. It'd be times where he'd be lights out, and then it'd be times where the lights done got cut out.
Ugh. Where you put that, it was so definite.
But I'm saying, don't be surprised if McKenzie be in the bullpen. It might not happen this season, but in the future, I think it's coming.
Well, like I said, the winter meetings are hot. Hot stove is heating up, and it's fun to see that both of our teams are making major splashes with that. So,
And also, the Yankees also acquired Alex Verdugo from their rival, the Boston Red Sox, for 3 minor league prospects.
what's that like? Like, as much as the Yankees and Boston hate each other, but they're making deals. What is going on?
That's only the 7th deal ever made between those 2 clubs.
Gosh, I mean, they're making deals. Well, you got Hamas and the, Israel making deals. I think it's so, it's like, that's a bad joke. I'm sorry. But I try.
But you think about it though, a lot of players have gone between Boston and New York.
Johnny Damon,
Wade Boggs. Who else? It was somebody else. It was somebody else. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's at the tip of my tongue. It had to be a pitcher. Roger Clemens.
There you go. Bingo. I knew it. Yeah, bingo. Yep. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I heard he was pretty good. I heard that guy was pretty good.
Yeah, he was all right.
He was all right.
He was cool.
You let him wear that. You guys in New York let him wear the Yankee hat after it's all.
Yes. It ain't nothing personal. Okay. Come on, hey, no beard, no facial hair.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
but
no one upset the boss. No one upset the boss.
Because I'm telling you, if they don't do nothing this coming year, changes have to be made. Truthfully, changes should have been made this year.
Yes, and you have been toting them for a while now. I believe it all starts with their manager. Is that where we're going?
Yes. Yes, he's done less with more.
Yeah, that would be fairly accurate. I mean, because you look at that Yankee, people talk about, this Yankees team is not as good. Yeah, they might not be as great as the great teams, but there's no reason why they should have finished where they did. They should have,
You got Aaron Judge, Stanton in the lineup. LeMahieu can hit.
Yep.
You had players.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but one of your pitchers went to the Mets. Is it
Severino?
Yeah, Severino. Yeah.
He's often hurt anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I figured, if he's going to go across town, it's just because he can't handle the brighter lights in the Bronx. He'll go to the Queens. Is that where he's going?
Yeah, he's going to Queens. He's going to
Okay.
Queens.
He wants to be the king of Queens, I guess. But
Hey,
I think
nothing
that's
wrong
been
with
done
it.
before. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. Well, what we'll do. I think we'll pay some bills right now. We'll pay some bills right now.
Yes,
Then
sir.
we'll another segment, but. It's Dubby time. That's right. If you want an energy drink that you can mix at home that doesn't give you the jitters or make you crash, if so, then try Dubby. Their products have no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin. Like I said, never knew what that was, but they don't have it. Good thing. No fillers or no artificial colors. Dubby has great flavors such as Dragonade, Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dub Sludge. So head on over to w.gg. Use the coupon code WeLikeSports to get 10% off your order. Also, you want to do this. You want to check out the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie, because he'll get you set on his Sunday Snooze You Lose pick of the week. So who doesn't want to add more coin to their purse and also have fun doing so? Why? Being a winner with the Snooze You Lose podcast and Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. He'll get you the right picks. And also Tight Nutrition. You want a good protein product, so head on over to tightnutrition.net. And also got to tote ourselves because, if you can't love yourself, who can you love? So head on over to the We Like Sports website at welikesportspc.com. Great articles. Sean puts up his top 3 games of the week. And we have a bunch of other writers over there, so you want to check them out. And also our Twitter page, I should say our X page, sorry. We Like Sports PC. So you want to check us out because we're great and we know it. So you want to do that. So I was thinking, it's Wednesday. Why not have a wild card Wednesday? You know what that means. So basically, Keith, I'm going to say, do you want to talk about NFL or do you want to talk about college football right now?
Let's talk about college football.
I'm glad you did. Okay, let's talk about college football. So obviously the top 4 have been selected for the college football playoff. Those being number 1, Michigan, not my favorite, but they got the number 1 spot. Number 2 would be the UW Washington Huskies with Michael Penix Jr. Number 3, Texas is back. And number 4, and controversial, and that's what we'll get into, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, Keith, those are your top 4. What's your first thoughts about that bunch right there?
Florida State got robbed. How? They did everything they were supposed to do. And yet they got stiff like they did.
But all I hear is they got an injured quarterback. Keith, talk about that.
I'm going to tell you something about that injured quarterback scenario. About almost 10 years back, another team had 2 injured quarterbacks. Their first quarterback, Braxton Miller, had a shoulder problem. Second quarterback, J.T. Barrett, broke his ankle during the Michigan game. The third quarterback was a guy that a lot of people are familiar with, my son's former teammate at Glenville, Cordell Jones. He was the 3rd string quarterback. Nobody gave the Buckeyes a chance in the Big Ten championship game against Wisconsin. Ohio State won 59-0. But they still got picked in the playoff. And there's a conference champion. They was 4th, but they got picked. So they dismantled Alabama and they defeated Oregon. So why Florida State can't get in?
What bothers me the most is it's not the fact that, look, there's Power 5 conferences. I get there's 5 conferences that are Power 5, okay? And I understand that in a scenario where there's going to be one conference champion that's left out. I totally understand that. But here's what I don't understand, and I believe what you believe. When one of those conference champions is undefeated, they won all their games. Did Texas win all their games? No.
No.
Did Alabama win all their games?
No.
You picked 2 conference champions with 1 loss over another. It'd be different if it was just one that had 1 loss and you want to have a beauty contest that way. But Florida State got leapfrogged by 2 teams with 1 loss. That's what I have a problem with. And another thing, Michigan, who won the Big Ten and beat Ohio State. Look, I understand they had a soft schedule up until the Ohio State game. I get that. But against Iowa, and I don't care how great you say Iowa's defense is, Florida State had more offense against Louisville in the ACC championship game than Michigan and their great Wolverine team against Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. So don't tell me because of a backup quarterback or a third string quarterback, or whoever the hell's playing quarterback, that it should matter when Florida State's offense was better than the number 1 team in the college football playoff.
Exactly. My point exactly. I mean, that's why you let it play out. It's always situations. If that's the case, think about this. That's the case, Villanova would have never gotten to the NCAA tournament in basketball to play Georgetown. Or NC State. Or NC State. Only have won like 17, 18 games during the regular season. But they beat Houston.
Jim Valvano.
Yes. And look, Ohio State beat Oregon and Alabama that year. Yep. But if you let these clowns this year would have been picking 10 years ago, Ohio State would have been at home.
Right.
Or they'd have been going to a shit bowl.
And I could understand if Ohio State would have got left off 10 years ago. They had 1 loss. They lost to Virginia Tech. Florida State doesn't have a loss.
They did everything they were supposed to do. They played their schedule. They won. AC, and it's a team game. It's not just a quarterback.
Right. There's defense, there's special teams.
Yes. And they did what they had to do to win. And to take that from them kids, that's just totally foul. And it also leads me to something else, which we're going to allude to also going for next year. Is the SEC in bed with the NCAA?
They got to have one. Always have to have one in the college football playoff. I mean, always.
And think about this. If that's the case, wait till next year when they go to 12. It might be about 4 or 5 SEC teams in the 12.
Oh, yeah. Put them all in. I mean,
right. Just throw them all in. And the SEC conference really didn't do that hot non-conference wise.
No.
And if you think about it, SEC, Big Ten, if you take Alabama out of the equation, I don't think LSU can beat Ohio State or Michigan.
No, absolutely not.
I don't think Auburn can beat Ohio State or Michigan.
Nope.
I don't think who else is in that.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss can beat either one of those two.
Right.
Or they could beat our third of Penn State for that matter.
Right.
But to do Florida State like that, that's just dirty. That's just dirty. Make it seem like money is changing hands or somebody has some Illuminati pictures of some people dancing around, sitting on people's laps somewhere or something like that. Like, hey, remember, Alabama gets in or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one thing too. What I didn't like about it was, so Georgia, they drop out of it, which is fine because they dropped Ohio State, and I get that. But so you're telling me that Ohio State is above Texas, they're above Alabama, and because Alabama beat you, I get that, but Texas beats a crappy Oklahoma State team, so now they're better. It's like the week before the way the polls were in the college football playoff is or was at the time, And it's like, then all of a sudden, it's like they just like try to overcorrect it at that last minute push because they wanted those 4 teams in. And it wasn't just the fact that Texas and Alabama leapfrogged, Florida State, but they also leapfrogged some other teams where, what did Ohio State do? Ohio State had a better strength of schedule. They lost to Michigan at Michigan. If Alabama went to Michigan and played, would they only lose by 6? If Georgia went to Michigan, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these teams, it's
exactly.
like they think that they'll come up to the north and play in a cold November game and see what happens. And it's like they always overlook that aspect of it. And because they always play in the nice weather, they play in the Georgia Dome, they play this, they play the Mercedes-Benz Dome, whatever like that. And it's just like they always play in the perfect elements, and yet they don't have to deal with anything. And yet these Big Ten teams have to, and yet they always just discount it like it doesn't matter.
Right. Definitely. You're definitely correct on that. And like I said, it's just a crime for real. That's larceny to the fullest. If I do everything I'm supposed to do and I still can't get in, I'm an undefeated conference champion in a Power 5 school.
Right. They're not a one-loss champion. They're an undefeated champion. To me, it's like, if you're not going to hold that sacred, undefeated, then why are we playing these games? It's just like it would be like in the NFL right now if we just thought the top 4 teams are Kansas City, Miami, Philadelphia, and San Francisco, and we didn't let them play it out on the field or whatever like that. We just decided that at this particular point, an arbitrary point in time, these are the 4 best teams we're going to put them in. And it just seems like, so arbitrarily, if they would have just said Florida State was before the injury, you're undefeated, we're going to put you in. But that's not how it goes. You have to play out the rest of your schedule, just like the NFL has to play out the rest of theirs.
Right. And that's what I said, because that's the case. Ohio State would have never had that opportunity.
Exactly. And then, and I went out and bought unnecessary merchandise. Spent a lot of money.
Exactly. So,
but you know what, Keith? On the We Like Sports show, I'm going to give love to the Florida State Seminoles.
I ain't gonna go that far.
Well, but I'm the lunatic. They pay me to be the lunatic here. Okay.
Yeah, they got robbed.
Yeah, they got robbed. Okay.
They got robbed. That wasn't cool.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can do that because the Seminole Nation supports me in doing that. So
all righty.
I'm allowed to do that. So, but okay. Also in college football, now we've got that out of our system. We can talk about the Heisman candidates right now. We got Jaden Daniels, LSU. We got Marvin Harrison, the Ohio State University. Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. And obviously Bo Nix of Oregon. And I just saw this before I got on. I was doing a little homework. Jaden Daniels of LSU is actually the favorite now to win it.
Really?
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I would have thought Michael Penix, undefeated Washington, beat Bo Nix in Oregon twice. But they think Jaden Daniels with his gaudy numbers, 3 plus 500 yard games, and one game where he had over 300 yards passing, 200 yards rushing. Great numbers, 9-3, number 13 ranked LSU. But I would have thought with as many losses as LSU's had, I just thought it'd be a Michael Penix Jr. kind of Heisman.
I still think it's Penix to lose. To me, I still think it's his.
I would have thought so, but I got on all these different websites, and the Vegas has it. I don't know. Maybe things change. Maybe and I think he definitely deserves it. I mean, what more can you do but lead your team to 13-0, beating Oregon twice, and obviously Washington. I mean, definitely. Yes.
And think about it. He beat every quarterback. All the quarterbacks is in the Pac-10.
Yeah,
the Pac-12 or whatever it is now.
Caleb Williams, he beat Cam Ward, he beat
Bo Nix twice.
I mean,
Shador,
there you go.
Yeah, he beat everybody in that conference. So I mean,
I don't know
I don't know what more he has to do. I mean, to be honest, Harrison, if Ohio State would have beat Michigan,
yes,
he would have got more votes, but I think he'll probably finish 4th in the vote.
I definitely. But did you know also too? I thought this was a cool stuff. This is the 6th year in a row that Ohio State has had a finalist.
Is that something?
Yeah. But people say OSU, they're dying. I disagree with that. But
OSU ain't dying. OSU ain't going nowhere, even though the quarterback did enter the transfer portal.
Oh yes.
McCoy, what you think about that?
Well, I think that obviously him and Ryan Day had a talk, And I think Ryan Day basically said that we're looking to spend some NIL money. And maybe Kyle got the hint that maybe his time as starting quarterback at the Ohio State University was ending.
Yeah, I, I, how can I say this? How can I say this? That to me, I'm kind of shocked that McCord is leaving, especially after this year so soon. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the timing of things. With the
Yeah,
new. Yeah, I think that's the only reason why it's so soon before, and now that because there's 17, I think, quarterbacks that are in the transfer portal that are bowl eligible, but they're not going to be playing their bowl games because they're in the portal. So it's a brand new world we're living in right now when it comes to
yes, it
this.
is. Yes, it
So
is. And me, I'm pro player and everything, but
I am too. I am too.
I mean, it should be if you want to enter the portal, you enter the portal after your season is officially
I
done.
agree. I think they should kind of,
Not just all of a sudden, I'm entering the portal and everything. It's like, even though, like, in instances like Cade Williams, well, due to USC, everybody knew he wasn't going to play in the bowl game.
Right.
Everybody knew that. I mean, he ain't got nothing to play for.
No.
He already got his Heisman, and USC ain't going nowhere. So, hey.
Yeah, well, they're going to the Big Ten next year. That's where they're going.
Yeah. And it's going to be interesting how they stack up in the Big Ten.
Well, I think they're in now. They hired the it looks like the UCLA defensive coordinator. They gave him $2 million to come across town to handle the Trojans defense next year. So we'll see how that goes. But I think they're gonna have a rude awakening the first year in the Big Ten. I mean, they had 5 losses this year. I could see that many losses next year. I just don't think that defense is just. And you got to think too. They got to break in a new quarter. Who's going to be their quarterback next year?
That's true.
I mean, you're losing Caleb Williams. I mean, let's just say this, you had Caleb Williams and you lost 4 to 5 games. What the heck are you going to do without him?
Think about it. 3 of those 4 teams are breaking in new quarterbacks next year because Bo Nick's not going to be at Oregon no more.
Yep.
Michael is gone.
Yeah.
Only one that's going to be left is at UCLA.
Well, is that not?
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. He might be coming to Ohio State.
Transfer yeah. So they're going all 4 might.
I know.
Gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the new landscape of college football, which I think it makes it very interesting. One thing we love about the NBA is the player transactions, and sometimes the NBA free agency is just as fun as the season, and same with the NFL when it comes to that. So I think good for college football, good for the players to get paid finally. I mean,
Yes.
So yes. I have no problem with it. I have no problem.
Me either. I don't. I'm pro player. Plus, if these coaches can come and go as they please,
yeah.
Why not the players?
I agree. But
this is long overdue.
Yeah. Well, I think before we head into our next topic on Wildcard Wednesday, I think it's time for some. This is in Columbus with your We Like Sports breaking news. That's right. The Cleveland Guardians won the MLB draft lottery and will pick first in the amateur draft. Cleveland had a 2% chance of landing the number 1 pick, but a 98% chance they will lose whoever they draft to the Yankees when it's time to pay. The college football transfer portal is buzzing with many players looking for better opportunities. Ohio State quarterback Kyle McCord said it was difficult putting his name in, considering all the letters of support he was receiving telling him to stay. Kyle didn't scan the entire letters, just like he didn't scan the entire field this past fall, because all of them were postmarked from Michigan. And finally, the Cleveland Browns defense continues to struggle creating turnovers. Some Browns brass believe they should sign point guard Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers to their practice squad. Let him go up against that D, and it should be raining turnovers. And this is in Columbus with your We Like Sports breaking news.
I was about to say, who sent Kyle McCord letters of support? I know they ain't send them in Columbus.
No, Michigan wants to keep him. I don't blame him. It's just like when we had John Cooper. They wanted us to re-sign him every year. So
Michigan probably want us to keep Ryan Day lifetime.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think you're absolutely right. So, well, like I said, Wild Card Wednesday, we'll hit our second topic because, we talked about college football, which I'm glad you went there first. I love me some college football, but also love us some NFL too. So, we'll go around the NFL, not like we usually do, but let's just hit on some main topics, and we'll start near and dear to our hearts with the Cleveland Browns. They have a big game this week at home against Jacksonville, who lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. Looks like Trevor Lawrence has a high ankle sprain. He says he's going to rehab and try to be ready for the game. So what are your thoughts about this upcoming week for our Cleveland Brownies?
The Browns need to win. They need to win. I don't care who has quarterback. It can be Flacco. It can be DTR. But it can't be PJ. But with our luck, PJ be the one winning the game for us. But you know what I'm saying? But they have to win. They have to quit turning the ball over. Because that game was in chance until that interception.
Oh, so about the interception. So obviously, Browns down 20-19 with about 7 minutes to go in the game. Browns get the ball around the 20-yard line. First down, Joe Flacco throws it deep. Looks like, I don't know if it was a miscommunication, bad throw, wrong route. I don't know what the case may be, but it got picked off, and then they returned it and kind of lights out after that. Moving forward this week, and I don't think he's out of it yet, DTR in concussion protocol.
He's still in concussion protocol.
So obviously it's going to be Joe Flacco. It's Wednesday. It's got to be Pat. I would think that you got to give him the first team reps.
But DTR did practice somewhat today.
Oh, did he? Okay. Well,
yeah, he was on the field today, somewhat. Me myself, I'm going. How can I say this? A lot of people got carried away with Joe Flacco. Oh my God, this is the best quarterbacking play I've ever seen. I'm like, is you fucking serious? I was like, he was all right. Don't get me wrong. He was all right. But the best quarterback play was when Deshaun played Tennessee.
Yeah.
Hands down. And what he did against Baltimore in the fourth quarter. Well, in the second half.
Well, 14-14. I mean, that's perfect. Yes.
That's brought you back from 2 scores down. And don't get me wrong, and I ain't shitting on Flacco and everything, because to me, if I was the coach right now, I probably would start him against Jacksonville, especially if Trevor Lawrence trots out there, because he'll probably give us our best chance to win. Now, if Jacksonville trots out C.J. Beathard, then choice is the Browns. Then you know what I'm saying.
Well, I think hopefully what transpires is, we talked about it, their defense, it plays a lot better at home than on the road. So it's got to come correct on Sunday, because the last 2 weekends on the road in Denver and obviously in LA, it didn't travel with them. And yeah.
But also you got to run into this fact too. Jacksonville is undefeated on the road this year.
That doesn't bode well for us, but
that's why they play the game on Sunday.
That's right. They play the game on any given Sunday. Absolutely.
But the Browns have to win this game, because if you do not win this game, look up, guess who's next to you? Cincinnati, if they win this coming week.
Houston Texans.
Indianapolis Colts.
Yes.
Denver Broncos, if they win this upcoming week.
And we don't win, the tiebreaker with them. I mean, once again,
you don't have a tiebreaker with Denver, you lose that.
What I don't understand, and maybe because it's a 3-way tie, but why is it that, the Browns beat the Colts, but we're the 7th seed and they're the 6th seed?
I don't understand that either.
I'm not getting that. Somebody said it has to do with because there's multiple teams at 7 and 5, and I get that. But I understand.
But head to head supposed to.
Yeah, I mean that's what I don't understand. That to me, that should be the ultimate, the head to head. But
let's just say this: the Browns got to put on a big boy pants on. The defense got to step the fuck up. I need some penetration from that defensive line, because you can say, okay, Miles ain't the same. He's hurt. And Denzel Ward was hurt. Denzel Ward practiced today, too.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
That's great.
We're gonna need. Yeah, well,
But it all comes to the line of scrimmage. Defensive line wasn't getting no penetration
no.
in neither of those last two games. The defensive line got severely outplayed. So Zadarius, Tomlinson, Maurice Hurst, what's the other guy name they got from Seattle earlier this year?
Oh,
97.
yeah.
They have to step it up. They gotta step it up. And they have to stop the run because if you let ATN go wild, it don't matter who back there quarterback.
Yeah. It's just funny because it's like, I wanted to get at least split the games in the 1-1 on the road, and it's just 7-5, 7-4, then 7-5 when you could be 8-3 instead of it's getting to the point where we're running out of games right now, and it's not looking good. Not looking good. They got to get it done. Kevin Stefanski, here's an idea: run the football. I don't care if it's DTR or Joe Flacco. Do your quarterback a favor, especially early on. Try to set something up where then, like I said, it sets up the play action. And I thought Flacco did a good job with the play action in LA. I just think he got overzealous with that final pass, that interception, and that seemed to cost us the game. And and all we had to do, like to your point on the post game on Sports 216, basically run the football. Kevin, you had 7 minutes. You didn't have to go. Maybe it was Joe Flacco just deciding to throw. I don't know exactly whose fault it was, but at the same time, it just seemed like a wasted opportunity when you could have got one.
Yes. The game was winnable.
Yeah.
Think about it. Both games, Denver and LA, the Browns were in it until late.
Yeah.
And guess what was the both common denominators? Turnovers.
Yeah. Browns don't get them, but they love to give them.
The gift that keeps on giving.
Well, let's talk about something different besides our Browns. Let's talk about what happened in Philadelphia. The San Francisco 49ers go to Lincoln Financial Field and kick the Eagles' butt. Are they the best team in football right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Yes. When all three of them guys is together, McCaffrey, Debo, and Purdy are together, 49ers have been undefeated.
Oh, well, so basically Purdy stays healthy, then
and if Debo stays healthy and
McCaffrey they're all pretty injury prone, I should say.
Yeah, but when they're all together, they're undefeated.
Wow.
And you got to think. And with the Philly thing, you kind of seen it coming.
Yeah.
Because Philly hasn't played lights out.
No. Like I said, 4 of their last 5 games they've been trailing in the second half. So
yes. And if you think about it, Philly got Dallas this week. And I don't think it's going to be good for them this week in Big D.
Well, somebody was saying
Jerry World.
Yeah, somebody was saying on the NFL Network that I don't know. Jalen Hurts got hurt, didn't he? I think got banged up.
He's had that knee problem for a while.
Yeah, they were saying maybe sit him, maybe play Marcus Mariota just because you don't want to injure him.
Play Mariota, we route. They route.
That's
It's gonna be a route.
Yeah,
if they play Mariota. Plus, Philly's defense is beat up too. San Francisco ran roughshod over them. And think about this. Philly's defense over the past 2 games then gave up about 70-something points. Because Buffalo rang them up pretty good too.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, 30. I mean, it was a high score. Yeah, it wasn't low scoring, and their defense definitely is not exactly. It's bend don't break, but I think it's breaking. I don't.
And it's one of them things where I see if it comes down to the playoffs, Philly could get upset.
Oh yeah, I don't. Anytime your defense gives up as many points and as many yards as they do, I definitely
they can be upset. But like I said, right now, San Francisco is full steam ahead if they all stay healthy. I'd have to go San Francisco 1, Philly 2, Dallas, Detroit mix and match. They're 3-4, 3A, 3B.
Right.
3A, 3B, because Detroit, they're good, but it's kind of hard to believe them because they had them losses, and you'd be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, like that Thanksgiving Day loss.
Yeah, the Green Bay, but Green Bay has improved.
Oh yeah, they beat Kansas City. Talking about that, yeah, Kansas, yeah.
Yes. And Kansas City don't look like the big threat no more in AFC.
No.
But the only thing with Kansas City is that they might get in by default is all the quarterbacks in the AFC are injured,
They are hurt.
or hurt, except for Mahomes, Lamar, and Tua.
Yep.
And with the history with Lamar and Tua, they both are often hurt. So you never know.
Tua can get a concussion putting his helmet on. We don't know.
Exactly. Hey.
Yeah.
And this got to be the year where Baltimore got to be saying to themselves, this is the year.
They sneak in, yeah.
This is the year we take it.
So let's see here. Other NFL news. Anything you want to talk about NFL wise? That's really just on your, like I said, we talked about the best teams. Let's talk about who's getting the number one pick overall.
I don't know. I don't even pay attention to that.
I know that's what.
I don't pay attention to bad teams.
I was hoping you knew because usually I pay attention to that stuff, but
I would have to say right now
Carolina again.
Carolina, but that pick going to Chicago. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yep.
So it'd probably be Chicago.
Okay.
Number one pick.
Yeah.
But I don't even pay attention to bad teams.
Yeah. Well, I've been
fantasy.
Being a fan of the Browns over the years. It was usually I'd just look in the mirror and so.
Well, you ain't got to look in the mirror this year. Yeah. Really, if you really think about this, Ed, think about this. The Browns have had top 10 NFL talent really for the last 4 or 5 seasons since 2019.
It's not getting me anywhere, though. It's not getting me anywhere.
It's not, but they've really had talent since 2019 where they haven't been god awful.
That is true. It's a departure from the Hugh Jackson administration.
Yes, very big departure. And let's say if they had hired an established head coach when they hired Freddie Kitchens, who knows what that team would have did.
Well, it was up to D. Podesta. He wanted Stefanski a year before we hired him. So
I want to say this. He got to go.
What does he do? I mean, what does he do?
He doesn't even stay in Cleveland. He's not even vested here. But yet, how the hell does he have so much say-so 3,000 miles away?
He's a vampire. I don't know.
Jimmy, my next door neighbor. Because Jimmy and Deshaun and all stepped the hill and Bratton off on me.
Okay.
But D. Podesta got to go.
Okay.
He has to go. Now, let me ask you this, Ed. What do you think of Deshaun sitting in the stands during the game against LA? Because
I see it's a big thing on social media. Here's the thing, okay? He was on the field with Nick Chubb before the game, and he was with his teammates. The Browns have a rule stating that if you're on IR, you're not supposed to be on the sidelines. He's in LA rehabbing with his girl. I have no problem with it whatsoever.
I have no problem with it either. It's like these people come with just the littlest bullshit.
If you don't like them, just say you don't like them.
Say you don't like them. I'd rather you say that. Yeah. But to get on the dude just had surgery. Right. Well, Joey Burrow was on the sideline. But if he was on the sideline and something was to happen where somebody runs into Deshaun and he further aggravates that
What's he doing there? He shouldn't have been there.
Then what?
Right.
And it's crazy because a lot of Cleveland fans are like, this is the worst trade ever. And injuries are part of the NFL.
Worst trade ever. Don't they remember the Danny Ferry trade?
Right.
Come on.
I remember I was a valet parker when I remember they announced that trade. I cried in one of the customers' cars.
That's funny.
I was like, you traded Harper? You got
Danny?
to be. But Danny Ferry? Is you serious? I said, this is the worst trade. I'm like, how is that the worst trade?
Yeah.
You go. you got to go for it,
Yeah.
because no player is coming here as a free agent. That's what people
No,
don't understand.
no.
No player is coming at, hey, well, we could win free agency. Who's going to come here? Unless you have to do what the Browns had to do. Slightly overpay, which now that overpay
It's
looks
not
like
even
a Family
overpaying.
Dollar discount now.
Right, right,
You got
right.
Deshaun on discount because pretty soon Dak's going to be up for a new deal.
Oh, after this year, Dak is woo.
He about to get paid. Who else? Who else? Who else? Somebody else is up. Kirk Cousins about to get paid again.
Yeah, he'll get paid. I mean, he'll get paid.
And he done made the most guaranteed money out of
Yeah.
everybody.
I don't know about Jared Goff, but he's gonna get paid when eventually.
Oh,
So.
Goff's going to get paid.
I mean,
So
so
it's like it's just a roundabout circle.
yeah, the market goes up, and wherever you hit it, then you'll get paid when it comes around your side. I mean, it's how it works.
Exactly. Plus, Drew Brees had shoulder surgery. Nobody gave him a chance.
He turned out to be okay, I think.
And he turned out to be pretty cool. And the thing what people are saying, and this is what steamed me up, they're like, oh, Flacco could be the starter next year. I'm like, really? Wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson age is on his side, if anything.
Right.
Because he's only 28.
Yeah, and he's mobile too.
And he's mobile.
Yeah, that helps.
And Flacco, now don't get me wrong, I would be open to Flacco being the backup.
Oh, absolutely. I would too.
I would definitely be open to that, because we cannot have this shitstorm again next year or whatever. I would be open to that. Or you might have to pay money for a backup.
Let's see here. I apologize for some of the comments here. Brian's been been watching. So was Herbert paid yet? Yeah, I think he did get paid.
Herbert did get paid. Herbert is the second highest paid.
Yeah.
And what, they're 5-7?
Yeah, they're not good. Also, too, Brian says Baker Mayfield. So yeah, well, he's in the NFC South, Brian, and in that division,
NFC South, you're never out of it.
And I'll say one thing about Baker. I'll say one thing about Baker. Good games, bad games. Will Baker get paid? You know what? Here's the thing. I think it comes down to
he'll get a deal.
Get something. I can see him getting. Yeah,
he'll get a deal. He'll get a deal. Thing with Baker is he's starting to mature. Also, congrats to Baker and his wife Emily.
Yes,
they have a little one around. They're expecting. Congrats to both of them. Yeah. And the thing is with Baker is, how can I say it? He's starting to grow up.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's starting to grow up, and he's honestly been consistent this year for Tampa Bay.
He's been more consistent than usual. There's still games where he's throwing for about 200 yards, and it's just
But if you really think about it, if you look at, and I said this to you before, if you look at Jalen Hurts' stat lines,
they're not always exactly spectacular.
Same thing. Pat Mahomes' stat lines, especially this year, same thing, right along with basically Baker's stat lines, Deshaun's stat lines, except for the interceptions at times, Lamar Jackson's stat lines. You can't even measure a game with,
I agree with that, Brian.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, Brian, good comments. Appreciate you. Absolutely. I mean, I think that Tampa's one of those teams where, because they do have a defense that's solid to even getting better, especially in the NFC South, where, Baker is that kind of quarterback where, I mean, he can put up some great games up there. I just want to see him be a little bit, his floor not be so low, but
just got to be more consistent.
Games, I look at him like, wow, I wish he was still in Cleveland.
Just got to be more consistent and less up and down.
Yeah, that's all. But I think as he gets older,
gets older, and plus you got to realize that when you are the quarterback, sometimes you have to be quiet.
Yeah. Well, I think he's done a good. He's done
a great job.
I think he's done a good job in Tampa. I
think the way things humbled him of sorts.
Well, I think
you go from being a first pick to being on 3 or 4 teams in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
That will wake you up quick.
Yeah. Like I said, I make jokes. Look, I've been notorious for making Baker jokes, saying he comes up short. I have fun with sports and all that. But in all honesty, he got the Browns to the playoffs, won a playoff game in Pittsburgh. I'm not naive to the fact, and
Can't take that away from him.
no, I hope he has a great career. I'm not, but I'm also not going to be one of those people where I'm always comparing Baker to Deshaun Watson and playing that game either. Deshaun's our quarterback, and moving forward, that's our guy.
It is what it is. Because I look at it like this. I wasn't definitely in favor of the Browns drafting Baker back in 18.
I don't think that was a great draft class to begin with.
But
overrated.
Since they did draft him, he was my quarterback.
He's my exactly. That's right. That's exactly.
Since they did, he was my quarterback, and I rooted for him to the utmost.
I think that draft class, if you look at it with Baker and Josh Allen and all them, I mean, it had a lot of quarterbacks, but I think as time goes on, a little bit overrated compared to what I mean. I'm looking at CJ Stroud and what he's doing. I'm like, damn.
If you go now, and if you go in the order of the draft, the quarterbacks went that year. How would you go? Who would you pick first?
I still would take Josh Allen. I think I still would have to.
I would say. It'd be between Lamar and Josh Allen first.
I always,
1A, 1B.
Yeah, I mean, gosh.
Lamar, Josh
Lamar's
Allen.
such a Browns killer. Maybe a lot of that is he just kills us.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and like I told Matt, shout out to Matt Trigger and them and the BBWAT. See, I was against Baker too. You know what I'm saying?
I do kind of think that, when it comes to did the Browns do him dirty or not, I don't know what was said to him behind the scenes, but I mean the appearance and from all the way it looks, it definitely kind of does. I think that you win a playoff game. The problem was once he didn't get that contract after they won the playoff and going into the next year there's something wasn't right about that whole scenario.
And how can I say this also? He said a few things that ruffled a few feathers. And he said a few things that ruffled a few feathers. And how can I say? He burnt a few bridges.
Oh, I definitely. Yeah, I definitely.
When he put the doctors out there.
Yeah. What, Brian, to Brian's point about Lamar, I used to be that guy. Oh, he's a great running back. You know what? I changed my tune. You know what? He's got weapons now, and he seems to always beat us. And there's
starting to come on the boat with me.
Welcome
to the Lamar boat.
Yeah, I'm definitely trending very much towards that.
And what did I say early before the season began? If Lamar is healthy, the Ravens win.
And they have.
When he's healthy, they win.
I'm sorry, Lamar Jackson, but you are for real.
But he has to do it in the playoffs now, because now people are not paying attention to the regular season, because that's a given. You know what I'm saying? That's a given. Now he has to do it in January.
Yeah, well, that's been the knock on him. The one even his rookie year when he went, they lost to Tennessee in a playoff game.
Second year.
Yeah. So I mean, look, anytime you have a young quarterback, even Josh Allen to a certain extent, he's got to make it to a Super Bowl, otherwise his career is.
But think about this. It took John Elway a while.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's nowadays, if you don't win now, you're a bust.
Yeah. It took Elway a while. It took and think about the teams that won with Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl one time.
Yeah.
And didn't go after that.
No. And he never had a run. He never had a run. Name his running backs. Let's play a game. Can you name some of Dan Marino's running backs?
Maybe Tony Nathan back then.
Okay.
Maybe Tony Nathan.
It was just. I mean, obviously you talk about Mark Clayton.
Name the receivers,
but you can't name his running backs, can you?
No,
absolutely
not. No, I can name his coach.
Right. That's easy. Right, that one we can do. But
another Cleveland guy, Don Shula.
Nice steakhouses, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I mean, it takes time. This
Yep.
is then you also in the same conference with Mahomes,
Yeah, that's not easy.
who also has an offensive minded coach.
Yeah, that helps. That always helps when you have that
Yeah.
relationship and you're a stud quarterback and you have an offensive
Well,
guy. I
you
mean,
have literally, I ain't gonna say Harbaugh is a little bit on the defensive mindset.
yeah,
But when you have a defensive mindset coach, it's a lot different.
yeah.
Because
Well,
think about it.
he's a special teams defensive guy. I mean, that's what he
Yeah,
was.
special
So I
teams,
mean,
just like
and
Mike Tomlin is a
yeah,
defensive coach.
right.
Now
Right.
imagine if he was an offensive coach and could nurture Pickett more.
Well, look at the Miami situation. Look how Tua's doing well with Mike McDaniel. I
Thank
mean, that
you.
you got an
Prime
offensive guy.
example. I'll show
Yeah,
you another example. Jared Goff stunk it up his rookie year.
yeah,
Fire Fisher, bring in McVay,
yeah. Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yep.
and
Well,
Dan
he stays
Campbell's
out
hurt.
of it. He lets his
Stays
offensive
out of it.
guys.
He lets his
Yeah,
people
he
do
lets
their
his people
job.
do it, and that's the good thing there. So,
Yes.
but I think what we'll do here is because I know we talked about it when we were kind of pre-gaming it, but it is a wild card Wednesday, and I think right now we're gonna go to the association. We got to talk a little NBA, Keith. I know you've been itching at getting at it. So, Keith, I know the other day when we talked about it, and you said you want to talk NBA. What's on your mind with the association?
I I guess the tournament got me confused. I'm gonna be honest.
Okay, me
But
too. Okay.
but I think it's something that can catch on. Because think about this. When they came up with the play-in game a couple of years ago, people was like, "What the hell's a play-in?" But the play-in games be some of the most interesting games.
I think you're right. I remember watching the Cavs, and they had to get so many points and try to make it in. But it's really kind of having fun with this. The New York Knicks a little bit. They're having fun with it. There's some other teams. Obviously, the Lakers are still doing their. So it is
Yeah.
fun to see some of the fan bases rallying around it. I don't know if your team like us now, the Cavs that are kind of out of it. I don't know how much. You know what I'm saying? And it seemed like it was over with. Like, it seemed like for a playing tournament, why does it seem like, okay, we played it for a couple of weeks and now it's like we're out of it? Like, it's like I don't know.
I think what they should do to tweak it is kind of do it like NCAA style.
Yeah,
Where
I need to
one
know
and
these.
out, one and
Yes.
done. If you
Yes.
win, you move on. If you
Fun.
lose, you're done.
Right.
That's it. When you move
Because
on,
at
you
different
lose, you're
weeks,
done.
and I just felt like, okay, it seemed like we played Indiana, and then we played Detroit, but it's like then it became a point differential thing, and then it became like I don't want it should never come down to a point differential if you're gonna, what I'm saying. Look, like you said, know who your opponent is. If you win, you go move on. If you don't, you don't.
Right,
I think
exactly.
simplify it.
Yeah, because you got Indiana, and Milwaukee in the East.
Yeah.
In the one end, and you got the Lakers, and who else?
Was it Denver?
I think it's Denver.
I think it might be. Yeah.
Denver.
And I may be wrong. If I'm shooting from the hip, I'm probably
Yeah.
shooting from the hip. Sue me.
Which would be interesting games because Indiana, fast-paced team.
We talked about them now when we did a little NBA preview on the show, and even on I'm a big Indiana fan when it comes to Tyrese. Is it Halliburton?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, he's a nice
He's
player.
nice. Yes, he's nice. And let's see, you got Milwaukee with Dame and Giannis.
How would you say that's working out right now? Do you think they're getting more chemistry? Do you see that thing working? I mean, because I know in the early on they were struggling, but they seem to be winning games now. But I don't know how pretty it's looking.
If Dame and Giannis can both stay healthy, you'll see the best of them by the time March, April. You'll see the best of them.
No, that's why they got them for that time, winning time.
Yeah, for that time. Right now, they filling each other out, and plus, nobody cares about no games right now in December.
No, they don't.
Only game you're gonna remember in December is who played on Christmas. For real.
That's right. I like those Christmas. Well, I remember the fun time. I remember a time. I'm old enough to remember when the Cavs and the Warriors used to play on Christmas.
Used to go at it every Christmas. So
hey,
that was fun. But the Cavs play tonight.
That's right, Orlando. Correct.
That's going to be a tough game.
It seemed like all games are tough for them lately.
And the old man is back in the arena too. Dan Gilbert.
Oh, is he back? Okay, is he okay?
Yeah, he's taking a more active role with the team now.
Oh geez. Well, is that because he's looking over at his coach and thinking that maybe there might be a change? Not in the
Let me tell you this. Last year, and I was really pissed off with the Cavs last year because when Kobe Ottman kept beating his chest, talking about we won 51 games, I said, you wouldn't be saying that shit if Dan Gilbert was there. He'd be looking at you like you stupid. What you mean we won 51 games? What we do, what where did we go?
Nowhere. Got home. Got bounced in the first round.
We got punked out in the first round by the Knicks. Got bitch slapped by the Knicks. Matter of fact, I made a lineup far as the Cavs and said they was the shook ones.
They looked it. They definitely looked it.
It was like all you heard was Mob Deep playing. Do 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 do. The shook ones, and I was like, man. But if Dan is back, dude,
Uh-oh.
head's about to roll. Because honestly, I think something is going to have to change with this basketball team.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing and probably the thing that most owners would do is probably cut off the head of the snake, which would be Bickerstaff, probably.
Mm-hmm. And I hate to say it, but I mean, think about this. Why isn't Imani Bates playing every day?
Here's the thing. I want to say this. Every time I get on X and I see the Cleveland Charge put out a tweet, Imani Bates has over 30 points every single time.
Why isn't he playing?
You can't find him minutes somewhere?
And think about this. He doesn't play Porter consistent. And Porter done showed Ty Jerome he a forgotten dude on this team now. Why doesn't he play Porter consistently?
I don't know. He was Craig Porter Jr. I don't know.
And Porter not scared.
That's what I like about him. I do like that.
He has no fear.
No fear.
No fear. I mean, his rotations, you'd be like, what the fuck is he doing? But yet you'll try Dean Wade out there every time. Then when Dean Wade. Let me finish here. Let me finish. Then when Dean Wade don't do nothing for 4 or 5 games, then when he does do something, next thing you know, he's hurt.
I don't need to say anything more. You said all I needed to say about Dean Wade.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's like now one thing I will give him credit for this year, the Cavs do get more up and down the floor than in past years. And I also think you got to feature the bigs too more. Because I don't think Mobley and Jared Allen gets the ball enough.
Here's what bothers me about that. The Cavs have an advantage over other teams. You have bigs that can run the floor. You need to exploit that competitive advantage. And I feel like there's some games that they don't. And they play in the hands of the other team where they're jacking up bad shots. They're not moving the ball inside, move it inside out, not the other way around.
And this team plays 2 different ways. When Donovan Mitchell plays, and I like Donovan, but sometimes the ball sticks. And then Jared Allen and Mobley don't get involved. But then when Donovan doesn't play, all of a sudden, Mobley's double-double. Allen, double-double. Everybody's involved.
Do you think maybe a change in coaching, basically it comes down to this. I think this is $1 million question. Is there a world with the right coach, or maybe it is Bickerstaff with a different system, but whatever the case may be, can Mitchell and Garland coexist? I mean, that's really. I mean, you can talk about coach, you can talk about this or Porter Jr. We talk about all these, but it comes down to this: the Cavs are only going to go as far as their 2 stars, and it's Garland and it's Mitchell. And if they can't coexist, then something's got to be done.
I think they can coexist, but what has to happen is Darius cannot defer. Darius has to be the 1, and Mitchell has to be the 2. He has to be the one, and Mitchell has to be the two, and Mobley has to be the third option. Where their roles have to be defined, where where Darius can get Mitchell in situations where he can catch and shoot and stuff like that. But Darius also has to quit turning the ball over.
Yeah, he does.
Because when Donovan try to run the offense, he a turnover machine too.
Yeah, you're right.
When he runs the offense, he's a turnover machine too. But Darius has to be the one, and JB, and that was the problem Darius had with Sexton. Where Darius would get the times he would defer to Sexton. It's like, no, dude, you're the point guard.
Yeah.
You handle the offense. You stir the pot. Don't let nobody else stir the pot and everything. So,
well, that's kind of like what I liked it when Garland's running it. It seems like when it's just him and he doesn't have the pressure of Mitchell,
they play a lot different.
Yeah, they play more freer, I would say.
And what it is, Darius has to be the driver of the bus. Mm-hmm. If Darius doesn't be the driver of the bus, they're going to keep floundering like they are. The next thing you know, by the end of the season, they're going to be a 7th-8 or maybe 7-8 play-in seed.
Oh, yeah.
And then that might be ugly. Because honestly, I think what's going to probably eventually happen is I don't think Donovan's going to stay here, honestly. And I think Amani Bates is going to probably be the 2 or the 3 in coming years.
I like his length.
Yeah. He's going to be the 2 or the 3 in coming years. As long as he stay focused, it's going to be cool.
Well, I know something. These little guards, they like I said, brings me flashbacks of 2009 against Orlando in the Eastern Conference Finals, and it just,
Yeah, because I think honestly, with this team hasn't fully transformed to what they're eventually what you want them to be.
Is this a scenario where I remember a team? I'm old enough to remember this too. I think you are too, but maybe not everybody remembers. Guy named Michael Jordan had a coach named Doug Collins. They couldn't get stuff done, and then they brought in the Phil Jackson. Is this a scenario where maybe Cleveland, thank you JB Bickerstaff for your service. You got us to respectability. You're getting us to 50 wins, but we need something to push us over that hump.
Yes, I definitely believe that. Because don't get me wrong, and I like JB. I like JB.
Yeah.
And he has changed the culture because this culture was toxic as fuck. Especially when they hired Beeline.
No, gosh.
It's like, did you
don't trust nobody from Michigan?
It's like, Gilbert, did you learn from hiring David Blatt? You got to hire coaches that got to color a tone of the room.
Yeah.
And JB changed all that. But at a certain point, JB might have gotten them as far as he could take them.
Yeah. It's looking that way. They don't seem to be progressing. They're kind of just plateauing and kind of
it's like plateauing, and it's like it's weird with this team.
This team, that's a great way to put it. It's
like they're playing as if you would have thought they would have won a title or something.
Right.
And it's like, no, you don't want no title. You got to. They don't have the urgency and stuff now.
That's great. That's
like they did.
And the
before.
Season's not. I mean, I know it's a long season, but I mean, they've played how many games now? I mean, it's getting to the point
20,
where
fourth of the season.
Yeah, I mean,
and by 40 games, you are who you are.
You are, yeah. So next quarter of the season, they better figure it out.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Well. Got a couple minutes left here, and like I said, Wild Card Wednesday. I'm gonna throw you a wild card, and like I said, I don't expect you to know anything because I'll be honest with you, I'm quite the casual myself. But there's a team that plays in Ohio. We wear black and gold, but like Wiz Khalifa would say, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, and that would be our Columbus Crew, owned by Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. And we got a game on Saturday. The MLS Cup is coming to Lower.com Field, the LDC
Yes.
something like that. I forget what they call it.
Yes.
It shows you how much of a casual I am. But yeah, so the Crew can win another title. Last one was 2020.
That'd be their second.
Could be
if
their
they win.
third overall. They
Third
won
overall?
Yeah, they won in 2008 as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and they won in 2020. So check this out. When I thought about this too, is Columbus the city of champions in Ohio? Because think about this. Cleveland has only got one title, 2016 Cavaliers, since 1964.
Correct.
Cincinnati, no Bengals have ever won the championship. And obviously in the NBA, they moved, so they don't have a championship.
And the Reds haven't won it in
1990.
Right.
So you add up Cleveland and Cincinnati, only 2 since 1990. Columbus could have 3 on top of the Buckeyes. I'm going to claim the Buckeyes as my own because they're in my backyard. I know it's the state of Ohio, but hey, why not? Ohio State is in Columbus, Ohio. So is Columbus the city of champions in the state of Ohio? Some could argue Major League Soccer, but they tell me this, Keith, all the time. They tell me that Major League Soccer is going to be bigger than Major League Baseball, and it might already be. I don't know.
It's already there.
So
it's already bigger than Major League Baseball.
Just don't try to find it on Apple TV. It's not easy to find.
Yeah, because Major League Baseball gets in their own way.
Yeah,
especially during the playoffs. But how can I say it? It all depends what you rock with.
That's true. Great point.
It all depends what you rock with. If you're into soccer and stuff, you could say that.
Yeah.
But if you're not and you into football, Ohio State ain't won it in 10 years. So,
but 10 years is sooner than 1964, and the Bengals have never won it. So
true, you got a point there. You got a valid point.
So long now, is it, Keith?
You got a valid point there.
Look, I know the Buckeyes are the state's team. I get that, but like I said, I am very proud to be living in Columbus, and Ohio State is, in Columbus. That's a fact. It's a fact.
Yeah.
So hey, why not tout as many? Hey, look, the world. I tell this to my kids all the time. I say this: it's not a lie if you believe it, and also this true too. In life, you have to sometimes, building yourself up or stating a fact. It's an art form how you present yourself. So I'm presenting Columbus in a different light. That's all. Very proud of my city. They're going to shine on Saturday and show the world that Columbus, Ohio, is a city of champions. So that's all I'm going to say.
Hey, that's what's up. Good luck to the Columbus Crew this Saturday. Definitely good luck to the Columbus Crew.
Why is it that Jimmy Haslam? It's funny because obviously the Pittsburgh Steelers, black and gold, arch rival of the Cleveland Browns, but Jimmy seems like he wins in Pittsburgh colors more than he does Cleveland colors.
Maybe ought to change the Browns colors. Or maybe change the name. Who knows? Because I actually think this franchise is jinxed some kind of way.
I know. I love the brown and orange. I love being a Cleveland Browns fan, but I'll tell you what, there might be something to it because nobody has as many injuries. Nobody has this. You think you're getting this, but you end up getting that, and it just never seems to work out. And all I got to say is please build a dome in Cleveland because I look at these other cities. I look at SoFi. I look at Nashville getting a new dome. I look at Detroit. I look at Indianapolis. Look, if you're not going to win anyways, let's build a nice building.
And it's like I was watching a national sports show, and we the poster board, the Browns the poster board for bad deals, as they say. And I'm like,
tell me you're a Deshaun hater without telling me you're a Deshaun hater.
Right. Just say you hate the dude.
I know, right?
You hate the dude. It's like, come on now. They say, well, you go to free agent route. Who are you going to pick up as a free agent? Franchise quarterbacks are not available through free agency.
Right.
Who are you going to pick up?
Right. And not only that too, like when we drafted, we in 2018 with Baker, and there was an unproven, and you know what I'm saying. But when the Bengals get to pick Joe Burrow, it was handed to them. It also matters what years you suck too.
Right, exactly. That be my thing. It's like, come on now. It's like y'all act like the Browns was the only team that was in contention to get this dude.
Exactly.
Whereas 13 other teams in the NFL.
But we're I know exactly. And then if he would have went anywhere else, would he be getting? If he went to Atlanta, he went to Carolina. I don't think that for whatever reason, it just seems like they
It
love.
would have been a feel-good story.
Right. Oh, he came home to Atlanta and look at all the
Oh,
feel
he
good.
came back to Carolina.
I know. Yeah,
Came
right.
back.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. It'd been a feel-good story. But since he came to Cleveland,
yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck you, Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, that's why none of them national people are welcome here.
No.
None of them.
Unless you want to spend lots of money. You want to spend lots of money, that's fine. That's fine. Got to help the economy out. Got to help the economy.
Have it like Detroit, no fly zone.
Well, I love it, Keith. I love that. Do you have anything before we leave?
I do.
Coming up?
Locked On Sports 216 should be on tomorrow evening at 6:00.
Cool.
Also, I want to say congratulations to all the North teams in Ohio High School Athletic Association's football playoffs that won championships. Shout out to St. Ed's in Division I. Shout out to Massillon in Division II. Massillon won for the first time since the playoff era. The last time Massillon won a championship in Ohio was 1970.
Wow. Not paper champions anymore.
Nope. And I was 1.5 years old. Shout out to Massillon. Division 4, Glenville, right down the street from me. Shout out to the Tarbletters and Coach Ginn and company. Shout out to Perry High School in Lake County. They won again. And shout out to Kirtland.
The Hornets.
The Dynasty. Now, I got a question, Ed.
Yeah.
And I asked somebody this when I was at work. How come Kirtland is literally in Menor, if you think about it? How come Kirtland and Menor don't never play each other?
Maybe men are scared. I mean, that's funny. I mean, maybe
think about it. Menor, you got Menor, Kirkland, Lake Catholic. They all should be playing each other.
Maybe because they're the divisions and they just feel like they just I don't know.
Because they all should be playing each other. They're kids.
Yeah.
Because Kirtland have about 60, 70 kids on their roster.
Yeah, all you need is good 22. I mean,
that's it. I wonder why they don't ever play each other.
I don't know. Maybe they just maybe they don't want to cause friction between the. It's a great question. And let's be real. As a fan of high school football, and especially in the great state of Ohio, I'd love to see it. I would
love to see it too. Because think about this. You get St. Ed's and Ignatius every year.
Yeah, Holy War.
Wouldn't people like to see Menor?
Yeah, I would love to see these inter divisional between powerhouses. I would love to see the Division 4.
And they're all in literally almost the same, in the same area.
The travel's not the issue, so I don't know.
No, travel's not the issue. I mean, y'all got to make that happen.
You know what, Keith? We will get something going on the We Like Sports show. We're going to get something going on Locked On 216. We're going to keep this up. We're going to make them play some way, shape, or form.
Yes, but shouts out to all those teams that won state championships. Y'all worked hard. Enjoy y'all moment, and always cherish this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's championships. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
I want to give a shout out to Bougie Sports. Now, I've been on their podcast, Yvette, Lysandra, and Stefanski girl, Lana. And my condolences. Yeah, she's a big Stefanski lover. And but
she ain't gonna be happy whenever they fire him, huh?
Well, hey, Lana, he said it, not me. But hey, here's the deal. I know this is
his job is safe.
Yeah, he's a handsome guy too. But on a more serious note, Yvette's mother passed away, so I want to give my condolences to her, because you know what, we all love our mothers. That's tough. But I always appreciate them. The Squad Pod, they've had me on. They're great gals, and they run a great podcast. And so I want to give a shout out, especially to Yvette. I know you're going through some stuff right now, and prayers are with you. So prayers are with you.
And well wishes to her and her family.
And then other than that, my son's got a basketball game, East versus West, a big rivalry game on Saturday. So yeah.
Also, shout out to my nephew Chad and them. They went 1-1. They unfortunately lost against Midview on the freshman
Okay.
circuit. They lost by 4, but they won their first game last Friday. They won 52-6 over
Oh,
Brooklyn
jeez.
on
Okay. All
JV.
right.
I mean, on freshman.
Nice. Okay.
Shouts out to them.
Okay. Well, that's always, like I said, we always support the youth and their programs and everything like that. So we're big fans of that. So, and
Yes,
hey,
sir.
hey, if anybody's family to you, their family to you, their family to everybody. And I just want to say thanks everybody for tuning in to the We Like Sports show. Check out Keith and Locked On Sports 216 tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Also, check out the Locked On Sports 216 NFL Power Rankings for Week 14.
Yes.
The video is up. Check it out. And the article will be up once I get to writing it. But check it out. Check it out, Vince. My fault. I got sidetracked.
Yeah. And then, like I said, pre and post game this Sunday against Jacksonville.
Yes.
So that'll be some
back to regular time.
Back to regular time.
And a half hour after the conclusion.
That's right. So, but we want to thank everybody for tuning in. I think next week, looking at the schedule, usually we're on Mondays at 5:30. I'll have to check that out. It'll probably maybe be Tuesday, maybe Monday. I'll have to look that out. So we'll keep you tuned in on. So check out X for the announcement there. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank my co-host Keith for once again a great show.
Yes, sir.
Everybody out there, enjoy your family, enjoy sports. We like sports, but we like you too. So check us out and peace.
Start spreading the news.